धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ जो भी यहाँ पर आए हैं. Thank you for spending your precious time and to be here, and thank you to all the guests, Aujashwi Sir Sharma ji, Premvit ji, Ashok Bhandari ji. Thank you so much to come here and to support me. I really appreciate that. Very grateful about that. Talking about my books, आज दोनों का book launch है, Check In, Check Out and It Follows You. Although the books have been already released, बट ये एक ऑफिशियल बुक लॉन्च है बिकॉज मुझे कभी ये प्रिविलेज नहीं मिला बीइंग इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया कि मैं प्रॉपर अपने रीडर्स के साथ कनेक्ट कर पाऊँ और एक प्रॉपर बुक लॉन्च कर पाऊँ. तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी एंड फील वेरी ब्लेस्ड कि मैं ऐसा कर पा रही हूँ. तो दीज टू बुक्स, चेक इन चेक आउट एंड इट फॉलोज यू, ये मैंने लिखे थे कोविड टाइम में, बट ये मेरी सेकेंड और थर्ड बुक्स हैं. पहली बुक मेरी लिखी थी 2012 में, बट कोविड एक्चुअली गेव मी दैट टाइम. And I'm sure that all of you would appreciate the fact that COVID का जो time था, it actually helped a lot of people to go back and revisit their hobby. Somebody was doing cooking, somebody was doing something else, they were painting, drawing, something like that. So I also did the same. I revisited my hobby of writing and I completed these two books. And check in check out entirely happened because मैं होटल में ही रहती थी, होटल में ही काम करती थी. तो एंड कोविड का टाइम, द मोस्ट हॉरिबल टाइम, बिल्कुल सुनसान होटल, nobody at all in a 5 acres property. So that gave me a lot of fuel for thought and lot of ideas. So that's how Check In Check Out happened, and Check In Check Out is actually a anthology of 10 different short stories. All the stories are very, very different from each other, and the stories are about travelers. There are Japanese travelers, somebody is from Canada, somebody is from Australia. But the good thing about this book, something that I have done with this book, is that every story depicts a very different sub-genre of horror. अगर कोई horror fan है यहाँ पे या कोई ऐसा सुन रहा है तो horror में भी सब genres होते हैं. तो every story has a very very different kind of a sub-genre of horror. There is haunting, there is psychological haunting, there is gore, there is satanic practices, there are a lot of stories about urban legends. So that is something special that I've done with this book. And इस book का protagonist, even though 10 different stories are there और 10 protagonists हैं, 10 characters हैं, but the main protagonist I guess is the hotel itself. And जो last story है, जब आप वो पढ़ेंगे आपको पता चलेगा, it will give you a very good ending to all the stories, because it will be a why to what is happening. So the first part of the story travelers की है, लेकिन end में जो end वाली story है, that is about the hotel itself. So it will tell you why Villaggio Hotel is a magnet for all things demonic. So it will give you a very nice closure to the book. So that is about Check In Check Out, and immediately when I received very good feedback from Check In Check Out, and I was pregnant that time, which is very funny because people say that pregnancy and horror don't go well together. So I was pregnant and I was going through a very debilitating illness, which is rare, but it is not uncommon. It was pelvis dislocation. So my doctor told me that you will have to walk on crutches. या फिर you can only sit, don't do anything, don't even walk. So I could only do one thing that that is best can be done while you are sitting, writing. So I thought I'll write a book again. So that's how It Follows You happened. And It Follows You, I think, is very close to my heart, this book, because these stories didn't happen just in a period of time. Just during that period when I was writing. These stories have been with me for a long period of time. I belong to Uttarakhand, and when I used to visit my ancestral village during my summer vacation, I used to hear a lot of stories from my relatives, from my grandparents, and some stories I heard during bonfires with friends. So all these stories, urban legends, local lores of a particular state that I heard, they were there, brewing in my head. So I thought, this is the best time to get it out. And sometimes, something is there in your head, and I'm sure that you guys will, आप सब लोगों को ये बात समझ आएगी, because आप सब लिखते हैं, आप स्टोरीज में डील करते हैं, तो आपको होता है कि ये स्टोरी लिखनी है बस. एक बार वो लिख लेते हैं तो आपको बहुत, यू फील वेरी काम, आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता है. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. A lot of stories here in this book are real, but of course I have fictionalized it here and there with some twists and turns. And all the stories come with a cliffhanger. So cliffhanger is when there is a twist in the end. So this is what I like to read as a reader. So that's why I have written this as well, because I think if I like to read this as a reader, then people will appreciate it as well. अब इस बुक की खास बात ये है कि all the 12 different short stories are from very very different regions of India. There is a story from Uttarakhand, there is a story from Mumbai, from Pune, from Himachal, from Orissa, from West Bengal, and the Bengali story actually is, that's what I decided to make as the cover. This is actually a Bengali bride. If you look at the picture, you will see that it's very beautiful. It looks very beautiful. The bride is very beautiful, and yeah, the hands are evil if you look at it closely. And this is a process which is called Shubho Drishti. Shubho Drishti is a ritual in Bengali wedding, where the Bengali bride looks at her husband for the first time through leaves. So she does that, and she looks at her husband. So I was so fascinated with this, ritual that the thing that they have, and I wanted to portray it in my cover. So this cover page got stuck in my head. I wanted this to be there. So I contacted the best illustrator in India and got it done. It took me a month. Actually, it took him a month to prepare it, because it is just so fantastic. It shows that there is a wedding with all the marigold flowers in the background, and it shows a horrible bride.